Hi, I thought I'd talk about steel bending, at least what I know about steel bending. It might be of use to some of you. You can go online and look at David Horn's videos, Don Cummings videos, there's Kirill's videos. Like if you go online and just put in steel bending into YouTube, you'll find some amazing steel benders and you'll be able to see their styles. But what doesn't seem to be getting explained is, how do you start? What do you need to start? What are the different types of steel? So I thought I'd do a quick video on that, since we all have a lot of time on our hands. So first of all, you're going to have some kind of protection. Steel is steel, and although when you buy it rated off David Horn, it's nicely cut down, the ends are ground out nicely. If you try and bend it with just your hands, it's going to hurt, it's going to put you off. It's not really something that we do very often. We do bending with no wraps, but it's more of a old-time strongman feat of strength than it is necessary to get you stronger at steel. So first of all, you need some wraps. If you buy David's beginner's starter kit, you get some of these when you get that. You'll get some of these when you get that kit. For some of the harder bends, you'll need to use 2 sets of these, and some people even use 3 sets or more for super hard bends. The reason being is when you're pushing down, it really pushes into your hand, and the pain is what will stop you more than your strength. There's a huge amount of pain tolerance involved in steel bending. The best steel benders have high pain tolerances. So you will need wraps, and with the wraps, I'll show you exactly how I do it later on, but basically you put one of these on the end, wrap it nice and tightly, and then put an elastic band around it just to keep it in place. But never ever, you won't ever wrap it like that. That's a baggy wrap. You wouldn't do that, but you get the idea. I'll show you exactly how I do it in a bit. And then you're going to need various types of padding. So this is so that it doesn't hurt you when it's bending over your body. So I'm really talking about brace bending here. Brace bending is when you use different parts of your body to bend it over. You're not allowed to use the floor, you can use any part of your body. And you're basically using leverages to pull it around your body. It's still extremely strenuous. It's some of the hardest training I've ever done. So this is just a beer towel. You see them on the bar, Jack Daniels one. Just folded it up, put a couple of bands around it, and when I bend, that will go on my knee, the bar will go over here, and I'll pull this way. I'll get into technique a little bit more in a bit, but that's one of the things I use. I have 3 different towels. This one is a thicker one. That's I usually put that on the inside of my thigh here. Protects kind of the adductor area, groin. It does get a bit close to the family jewels, but you have to get it close to it. But it doesn't hurt there. It actually hurts more when you're pushing into the tendons and the sinew here. So that's why I have a thicker one for that. 2 smaller towels. It's like bathroom face towels, whatever. I just fold them up into various configurations, and then they can go either on the steel, or they'll go sometimes underneath the leg, underneath your backside, maybe inside here as well. I have one blue one, one orange one. You'll need a wrap, a knee wrap. I don't like them to be I like them to be quite not stiff. I don't like them stiff. This is I guess probably a 2 meter one. seems enough for me. It's the only one I use. And that's to wrap around your leg. Again, I'm going to show you all this a bit later, but it will go on the side of the leg, whichever side you prefer. Sometimes I'll use two, and then you just wrap it around. You also need tape measure. I use smelling salts as well. You'll need elastic bands, and it's helpful to have digital calipers. These are cheap ones, they're cheap plastic ones. They do the job, they're perfectly okay. It just means that when you have a piece of steel, even though it'll be marked on usually, I can check it and go, yep, that's 10 mil. Let's see, it says 10 on that. They're like 10-15 pounds. Mainly you need those so that when you do a video, or if you're going for a certification, then you can guarantee that what you're bending is 10 mil, 12 mil, 16 mil, whatever it is. So I've laid out some steel here, so I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see all this. So that's from easiest to hardest. So we'll go easy. So this is 6 mil. Nice and easy. I don't know what this is, but I just put it in there. It's a bolt that I got. Not a bolt, a nail. It's a big nail, probably an 80D, I think. I don't know. This is square steel. You can bend wrenches, you can bend spanners. We're getting into more nuts and bolts of stuff now. This is 8 mil. And now we're into some more standard stuff that you can start certifying on. So this is a grade 5 nail, bolt. It's got a rating on it. It's a grade 8 bolt. It's a little bit harder. They're strange. These ones are easier to bend, but harder or longer to snap, because it's milder steel. This one is harder to bend, but easier to snap. And bend one of these in, I can snap one of these in about 15, 16 moves. This one takes about 10. And then this is kind of the first standard you want to look to get. This is a red nail. So bending a red nail is the first sort of standard that you're doing quite well at it. And then when you start snapping them, then you know you're doing really well. These are various other shorter length pieces. These are shiny steel. This is a rated piece from David Horn, 218 kilos, so harder than this. These are about, I think it's 6 inches, which is what that is. It's about 210, so it's not far off. Then you've got rebar. Rebar, very springy, very hard to bend, but will snap easy. Little snap on the ribs. And you've got this piece of, this is EN3B, which is mild steel again, but it's the harder steel. This is 16 mil. This is a 25-inch piece, so thicker. But this actually bends okay, and this varies a lot. So it's best to get rated versions of this. This is old steel that I bought a long time ago and had cut to length. It's actually harder than a lot of the rated steel of the same length that I get. This is a piece, this is easier obviously than this. This is only 10 mil, but the idea with this, if you see that I've got wraps on it already, 2 sets of wraps, is to break that into 8 pieces. That's called pieces of 8. This is a really hard piece of 14mm that I'm still trying to bend. It's rated at 215. I find these sort of mid-length bars really hard. This is a gold nail. I haven't bent one of these yet. This is one here. And you see it's got a little kink in it. Again, I've got double wraps on it. And then finally, the big stuff, 20mm. That's a 39-inch piece, which I have bent. So that's all the different types of steel. And there's way more. There's tons more steel. Yeah. So that's the steel, yeah. So I'm going to show you how I wrap the steel now. The way is to keep one side of the wrap nice and tight. So I keep one side nice and tight. Bench isn't level. Alright, so then let's get a red. You would mark the middle. Again, you take your tape measure, put a mark in the middle. And you don't want to wrap the whole thing. You want to keep a good portion of it poking out because you need that for padding. So you wrap it. What I'm doing is I fold it and catch it so it's knit. Once it's knit, you can pull it tight. Terrible. Okay. So I've got a red nail. You would mark the middle. So I'm folding it, tucking it under, get the first wrap in. Then I'm rolling even. As I'm rolling, pull tight. Get my elastic band. That's one side done. Do the other side. Then we have it wrapped. Same applies for longer bars. The only difference would be if you do double wrapping. But yeah, that's all. That's it. So I'll talk you through a full bend. First of all, I'm going to wrap my leg. So place it on the outside, so just above the hip bone. on nice and tight. It's padding. Just to let you know, you will get bruises here to start with until you build up some tolerance to it. Then you've got your piece of steel. And you've got your extra padding, so you get some chalk. So, in with these short pieces you can get a little bit of a bend from going over the knee. And the idea is that you're pushing down with the knee, like pushing down with the knee, and I'm also pulling back with my back. What you don't want to do is pull with your arms. Arms aren't as strong as your back and your legs. So you're pushing down with your knee and back with your, I'm not pulling yet, I'm pulling back. It'll take a while, it won't happen straight away. There is an exercise you can do that I've worked out with bands, which I'll show you, which kind of simulates it, but the best simulation is just to do it with steel. I think that's it. So you're not allowed to do this. You can do it in training, but get used to doing it over your knee normally. I'm really short stuff. I get very little over my knee. I've got quite big joints, so it doesn't really happen for me, but I'll show you the full technique. So see if I can get a bend. So there you go, it's bent a little bit. I don't need that now. So I am not the best with short bars. So what this is called, David taught me this, is a pistol grip. So it's like you're holding a gun. And you want that on both hands. And you're pushing in this part of your hand. So that's why on harder steel you need more wrap. You're actually literally pushing in there, and it is painful. And then what you're doing, you've got to get it between your legs using adductor strength and actually standing up at the same time a little bit. So you're actually going like this. It's a bit strange, but that's what you're doing. So this is holding the bar in place. This is helping the squeeze, and you will automatically squeeze with your chest and arms as well. Okay, so and the other thing, I'll step back a bit, keep your legs close together, don't be out here. Closer your legs are, closer the legs are here, the more you'll squeeze. So we'll give it a go, and 3, 2, 1. You see it bent nicely. I'm going to go all the way. And it's fully bent. So now you want to start opening it and closing it. So one hand needs to go over the top, pushes away from you. The other hand that goes inside, away, facing away, pulls this way. So you're going like this, pushing and pulling. Now, some people are better pushers, some people are better pullers, some people do a bit of both. Some people will put all the pressure down here and just pull. You watch David Horner, he'll do that. The way I do it is I tend to do a bit of both, so I'll push and pull, and it's opened a bit. Okay, so I'll do a few. And you saw there that I did a double pull. So the reason being that I couldn't get my hands all the way in, so I pushed a bit and then pushed again. So you want to be careful when you squeeze, you don't squeeze it too close. which I'm doing a little bit, but it's okay. Because I'll do that. Get my hand in a bit lower and pull again. Step back so you can see it more. Squeeze it in. And what you should do, or what you will do, is that you'll open it. You'll start looking, or you should see if it's cracking or splitting or any changes in colour. Gives you a bit of confidence. It won't go yet, obviously. I'll keep it running, but I will edit this down a bit. Move this way so you can see the pull. Get to this stage. You know you're there nearly. What a fucking nasty piece. One more. There we go. Good. So that was, looks like that. Pretty even bend. So that's how you bend.